I love Kimba. You don't understand. I love Kimba.
Love you, Kimba.
Hey, Kimba.
Hi there. It's me, Kimba, radio broadcast, season 3, episode 5. I will survive. And really, isn't that what it's all about anymore? I'm going to bring on my guest pretty immediately because I want to talk about how we met and what happened in his life and what's happening now with him. He's a longtime friend. He was a longtime South Floridian, North Miami to be specific, and he's the former guitarist of Matchbox 20, Adam Gaynor.
Hey! You know, I never really have that in the vibe. That's
You
good.
have a very good vibe. I have like,
Yeah, it's a little. It looks a little bit like an emergency pull fire thing.
It is. I might have to pull the emergency radio.
This is a new angle for me. I want you to know this is a brand new vibe. I never have. Where am I? I never have. Oh God, that. I never have this light in there, which is one of my favorite little lights. So now I got the light. I got the Yuki. Hold on. Ah, damn it. I got the Yukis. That's a mini Yuki.
Oh, I like the Yuki.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you know, the bells and whistles. So, yeah, there we go. Like that. Look at that light. Isn't that cool?
The actual rock and rollers look versus the people who just play the rock and roll. That's the difference right
I
there.
think if you were to just put a piece of art on your wall.
No way. You are
Yeah.
front and center. You're the shining star. You were at Criteria in 1990,
Yeah.
correct?
Thank you for asking. I was not at crazy. Oh,
Do you remember how we met?
yes, I do.
Okay.
I was in prison in upstate Florida.
Yes, correct.
Yep. And you were the girl with the key. And I'm like, can you? And you're like, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I was answering phones at Criteria Studios
Mm-hmm.
in South Florida.
And I called.
I actually thought no, but no, I absolutely was there at 19. My comprehension of time is weird. I was there from like 88-ish
Mm-hmm.
to 95-ish.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you why.
You're right.
I got
Yeah.
a call while I was on the air working nights at Zeta, and they said, the Allman Brothers are at Criteria recording. So, I looked in the phone book and found the number because that's what you did in
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah.
And it was like April of 90. And I called and you were answering the phones at the time. So you answered the phone and I told you who I was and you were very nice to me.
Of course I
And
was.
you said, can I get a number to call you back?
Yeah.
And you called me back and you had the Allman Brothers Red Dog, their road manager. Put him on the line. We chit-chatted. He asked why I was asking. And I was like, well, I heard, and that's pretty cool. And he says, do you want to come down and watch us record? Now, this was for their 7 Turns record with Tom Dowd producing. I immediately said yes. But then I thought, I just said yes to going to the Criteria Soundproof Studios at approximately midnight with the Allman Brothers.
And no, with Red Dog. You don't even know that the Allman Brothers are going to be there at this point.
True
You don't
story.
even know that.
So then I asked him, I said, I have a colleague who's a huge fan. Would it be okay if I brought him? And he said, yes. So I didn't even know if Steve Stansel would be able to go, but I called him and basically threatened it. No, I said, hey, I just got invited to go to Criteria to see the Allman Brothers record. Yeah. Do you want to go? So he came and got me. We came down there, and that is the first time I met you. And the whole Allman Brothers story is really, really cool, but it's a different story. It's a great story, but that's how you and I first.
Yeah. Greg passed away. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Well, I can tell you a story.
Oh, do.
But Greg was the first person in my life who I looked into his eyes and he wasn't there. I had to have him sign some work order thing one night. I'd very rarely dealt with the artists in their studios. They always came through the front and I dealt with them throughout the facility, but not for paperwork. And someone gave me paperwork to bring to them. And I just felt so bad because he just was not there on any level.
Luckily, the night that I went, he was just a sweetheart and fantastic. And it was just a memorable night. That's for another podcast. That's how we met. And then we would see each other after that, because now we know what each other look like. And we would see each other, blues festivals and whatnot and say hi and everything. And then one night you called me on the hotline at work and you said, you have to come see this band that's recording right now. And I remember I wasn't like feeling all that great that night. Cause usually I'm sure. Why not?
You're pretty peppy on a daily level.
And I'm like, no, I'm not really feeling like it. And you were adamant. You were like, you have to come see this band. They are the coolest guys. You will love them. And you were just insistent. So I went.
I know this is
1994, October-ish.
Damn it. Who was it?
Collective Soul.
I was gonna say, I couldn't believe that they were that new. They were new.
Yeah, they were recording their self-titled album.
Second album.
Their first one was Hints Allegations with Shine on it. So this was there with Gel and Where the River Flows, the one that broke
December, I think.
December.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I went, met them, the nicest guys. And then upon listening to your podcast, because I knew how I met them. And then after that, they invited me to whenever they would be in town, they would call, hey, Kimba. I got to see them record part of Dosage, which is 98. You were already busy doing something else. We'll get to that. But I remember them playing. Was there a room in Criteria that had a fireplace, or am I imagining things?
Maybe imagining. There was a lounge, pool table, and a weird atrium that never was lit or cool.
Okay, that was probably it. Because he played me the beginning of the song Heavy. And I remember hearing it and thinking, and I asked him, I said, how did you come up with that? And he started giving me the techno. Well, I took this loop and this and that. I go, no. How did you hear that? And he said, I don't know. I just did. And it was like really at that moment that I realized, between that and watching some of the Allman Brothers stuff, I just realized how you as musicians are just in this different class. Because to him, it was like as normal as breathing. But that's my story with them. But then I listened to your podcast and heard kind of what they did for you.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Let's clear the air that you're one of my idols. So let's just clear the air that not only did we find out we share a birthday with our buddy, with our other crazy friend buddy.
Yes.
But it's like this crazy family that we have. But yeah, when I was answering phones, it was like people like you that I would listen to on the radio that I was very, very enamored with. And, I always wanted to be like a MTV VJ. And I always laughed at if they would still have my VHS cassette I sent in to audition. You and all of our other buddies, but you're one of my idols that I looked up to.
Crazy.
When I was answering phones and being like, man, I wish I could have a better gig like Kimba, like my girl Kimba.
I think you did. And that's another, I'm going to tell, because I don't know if we ever told you this story, and then we're going to get into what's going on. So now I've known Adam for a few years, and then I worked with Glenn Richards, who his episodes, it was my first season of the podcast, episode 26, and 26, because it was our birthday. And and that is the most downloaded episode. So your mission, Adam, is to beat Glenn's bottom in downloads of the podcast.
I know 3 people in Wisconsin.
There you go. We're golden. And I knew Glenn for years, and I don't know why we didn't know initially, but eventually we found out that we all shared the same birthday. We're all different years, but we have the same November 26th is our birthday. So we went to dinner at the Melting Pot in North Miami in 1995.
Yeah, we did.
The 3 of us, and then our friends and significant others. And you told us, you're like, yeah, I'm going to Orlando to join this band. Well, now keep in mind, in 1995, South Florida was just exploding as far as local music hitting.
Yes.
And people getting signed. I remember later, you weren't there, and Glenn and I looked at each other and went, Orlando? Like, good luck.
It was the boy band capital of the U.S. Why wouldn't I go to Orlando?
It just turned out to be this little band called Matchbox 20. And I don't know that anything ever came of it.
No, I don't think so. I can't remember any of the things that came from it. So yeah, it was, it was.
If you don't remember, you were there. That's how it works.
I was there, and I do remember a lot of it. Going back to the original story, I was answering phones for lesson 101 for the viewers. We always give lessons. So I try to give some lessons is, try to change your time and space, try to put yourself in a place that can further your trajectory on this universe. And I was, the very quickest story is I was writing songs in my apartment, and I was trying to figure out, like, how do you get people to hear you? How do you go to the next place? A friend of mine was an assistant engineer at Criteria, Mike Spring, big props. I'll make him watch this. He got me in an interview with Margie Curry, the traffic manager, Trevor Fletcher's mama. She didn't have anything at the time, called me 2 weeks later, said I have a job as a phone boy, really receptionist, night receptionist. I'm like, whatever, I'll take the gig. That led into years and years and years of meeting people like Michael Stipe, Mariah Carey came through there, Lenny Kravitz came through there, Julio Iglesias lived there, Tom Dowd. And then one day, like 7 years-ish into my thing, I only gave away like 2 cassettes. Those are the plastic things we used to listen to music on back in the time. And I printed like 250 cassettes, R&B projects, and then rock or singer-songwriter stuff. I remember being next to the Collective Soul studio. And, you know, I always make friends with everybody because I'm the night guy. So there's really no management there at night. So they all come to me with problems.
And the nice guy.
Happen to be one of the nicest in the continental U.S. outside of parts of Hawaii. But
Correct.
yeah, so I just was jamming on my guitar or doing something outside, not outside of their studio, but in another studio. Supposedly the engineer heard me. He told Ed Roland, the singer, about me playing good music. Ed calls from New York and he needs to talk to somebody in the studio because they're still there. He had to go to New York. He's like, Adam, what's wrong with you? I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I need to speak to the studio. I'm like, he goes, but I want to yell at you. Why didn't you ever tell me you wrote me? I'm like, that's not my job is to tell you I wrote music. He goes, well, I want to hear it. I'm like, well, I got a cassette. And he goes, yeah, send it to me. I'm in New York doing Letterman. Just please send me. I'm like, yeah, of course. And thank you. And so I sent him my cassette and he listens to it, gives it to his old management. And then the old management sends me a production deal, which is like this thick. And I'm almost 30. So I'm an old guy answering phones, trying to make a break for myself. Lesson 2. It's never too late, guys. I don't care if you're 50 watching this thing. There's things we can still do with our career. You can always reinvent yourself. Kim and I'll talk later. I'm about to literally come out with my first solo project at age 60. So don't tell me you can't do something. His manager sends me this crazy contract about owning my rights in the universe. It didn't look good to me. I was scared. Had a check to give to a lawyer as a down payment. And all of a sudden my phone rings and it's a guy named Matt Serletic that's producing Collective Soul at the studio, who I knew Matt from the studio. And he's like, I want to send you a cassette. I want you to listen to the cassette. Tell me what you think. All of a sudden, my brain is like, oh my God, I've waited 8 years for an opportunity. Now the manager of Collective Soul is offering me a deal. Now the producer of Collective Soul wants to record me as a singer-songwriter. My life is going to change. I'm so excited. So I listened to Matt Serletic's cassette, a bunch of guys in Orlando, Florida, turn full circle. And it's a band called Tabitha Secret. And in Tabitha Secret is a singer named Rob Thomas and a drummer named Paul Doucette and a bass player named Brian Yale. And I listened to the cassette and I'm like, huh, it's pretty cool. It's kind of like my acoustic pop rock, folky rock thing. It was the times of the 90s. It was kind of a lot of bands later on like Tonic and Lifehouse and all these bands were doing that kind of thing, and or Live or whatever it was. And then I'm excited. I'm going to call Matt. I remember the push button phone on my wall. We talk about 95-ish. So I pick up the phone at Matt and I'm waiting for him to say, hey, did you like the cassette? I want to make a record like that for you. Instead, he says, lesson 3, folks. This is lesson 3. Instead, he says, hey, how would you like? He goes, how did you like it? I go, it was good, man. I liked it. There's one really good song. I liked another song. There's only 3 songs on the cassette. He goes, well, I'd like you to audition as a guitar player vocalist for this band. And I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, and there was like a 2x4 hitting me in the face. I didn't think of myself as a guitar player. I was a singer-songwriter kind of guy. So the end of the whole story is, this is the long version, is the band was Rob Thomas and our drummer and bass player that turned out to be in Matchbox. They got rid of their original guitar players. They invited me. I'm not giving you the long version of it, but I went up, met Rob, met Matt. They took me to Matt's aunt's house. Rob played me some stuff on acoustic guitar. I went from not caring about the job maybe to, oh my God, this kid is ridiculous. I better get the job. Auditioned, went home. They auditioned other people. I auditioned again. They called me, said, hey, do you want to be part of whatever the hell we're doing? I joined, went to Atlanta. We did a talent search with the 4 of us, found our other guitar player, Kyle Cook. The rest figured out what we were going to name ourselves, made a record in like 3 months, which was Yourself or Someone Like You. And yeah, life changer. But the second I met Rob, I kind of knew, because I had a local attorney who was watching. I apologize, and not really, but he was supposed to figure out my production deal. And he's like, Adam, what do you care? Just sign whatever. The odds of you even going gold and selling 500,000 records are, and I'm like, no. You don't understand. This dude's going to sell like 12 million. And he started laughing. I fired him, and that first record sold 18 million. I knew Rob was like psychotic writer. It was nothing I'd ever seen or heard. And I worked at this one of the most popular recording facilities in 8 years. Heard everybody. And for me to freak out over this kid that no one ever heard of, my gut knew I never was worried about our career. I never was, because he just wrote incredible songs. And so I was very fortunate to start with the boys and be in Matchbox 20 for 10 years in our first 3 years.
Yeah, I know. And I feel very fortunate that I was part of it on a very small, like for a while, I kind of called you guys our home band, like our house band, because you used to, I think I started playing you on the local show.
Love that.
I think it was Long Day. Yeah. On the local show. And then I think you came in one Sunday morning to play some live stuff, because I still have it all. I still have those recordings of all the interviews and the outtakes.
We have to share that one day. I want to hear that.
Oh, they're just, and then you played so many shows with us at the theater and the Hard Rock Live. I don't know if you remember any of those names of those venues, but yeah, we used to have you a lot and have you play at a lot of our events. And you were always so fun and funny. And in fact, I'm going to inject a phone call that I promise it's just hysterical. It's you, Rob, and you, and I think a van full of the band, to be on Rockline.
Yeah.
And you just decided to call me.
I love this.
You and Rob talking to me and it's hysterical. So I'm going to shove that in right here.
My name is Kimba, and Rob, the singer from Matchbox 20, is on the line, and these guys are going to be on Rockline tonight. Rob, they're supposed to be in Atlanta. Are you there yet?
We're almost there. We're en route. We stopped at a Sitco/Subway to fill our little tummies.
So what are you going to do tonight?
We're going to play live probably 3 a.m. in Busted. We'll probably get there like an hour before it goes on.
Oh, okay.
An hour before we have to get there. How far are we from Atlanta right now? About an hour.
What, were you going from Orlando?
Yeah. Right? Everyone to either call Rockline or to just listen idly by your phone. Maybe with a friend or a lover. Maybe naked, you know.
Oh, this is your chance, Rob, to have the world's biggest pickup line. You could basically say to anyone listening right now, hey, 11:30, call me.
Right? Hey, you sitting there by the phone, little kitten eyes. Hey there, Buttercup. Hey, Tiger. Give me a call. The crazy radio sale right there, Kimba. Hey, Adam wants to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on.
Okay.
What's up, girlfriend?
Hello.
I do get the scoop, even when I'm away from home. Yeah, they told me you played Shane for the local show.
I love it.
Oh, you know what I love?
What?
You.
Oh, I love you too.
Oh, don't get me crazy. And I will be wearing something black and very loose-fitting.
Well, that's good to know.
Thank you very much. I don't know what my problem is either. I think we have a little band-itis right now. We have a lot of problems from sitting with each other at close range for about 6 hours.
Oh, that's so cool of you to call me, though.
Oh, man, we would always call you. We will keep in touch. What we're going to do is we're going to have Live on the Road with Kimba, and we're just going to call in like from every stop on the next 3-week tour that we have, and we're just going to keep checking in with you.
Yay! Excellent.
I love you to death, Kimba, and we will see you soon when we get back to town.
Okay.
I love you.
Bye.
Take care.
Love you. Bye.
It's just you and him being you and him. Is
I
what
love
it is.
that.
Yeah. I know the music industry has changed a lot, but radio has changed so much. And I don't even know if that happens anymore. Kind of being part of a band, maybe some smaller markets still do that, but it's just changed so much that it's just not the same. You don't get to be part of that beginning stage and then watching bands blow up to the stratosphere and seeing them. I mean, I know I have a picture of you guys, and it was the ire of one particular colleague because it was a sold out show at Sunrise.
Yeah.
You guys sold out Sunrise.
Yeah.
And you were almost considered, even though it was Orlando, technically, you were considered kind of local heroes here. At the end of the show, I think it was Rob who yelled out, "We love you, Kimba." And my colleague punched me and went, "You."
That's so awesome, Kim.
I'm like, really? That's the reaction?
That's so freaking cool.
Because I had never had a shout out from
every market, and there are handfuls of people that you remember that kind of changed your career and that kind of understood or embraced or got what you were trying to do and wanted to lend support. And you and your people that, really you, because my connection was with you. But yeah, it just meant a lot. It still means a lot. I love that we check in with each other at least once a year, if not more, to make sure that we're doing good, and always have our little birthday fun texts. And that's kind of the beauty of life, that you can go through something with someone, and then I just now I'm back to being a normal idiot doing what I do.
It's funny that you did, you're doing this and that and the band and then world tours. And I just stayed on the air the whole time.
Yeah, but that's good. Yeah, that's smart. That was smart. That was your gig. My gig was there to there to there to there. Your gig was talking and doing what you do great.
That's great though, but to see it from where I saw it when you would be on, like I know you just did a post about the Tonight Show and Letterman, and to see you on those shows or to see big billboards somewhere or to show up at a bigger, because I know I saw you at another venue, what is now the Amaranth Bank. It's gone through so many different names, big where the Panthers play. To see you there at a sold out show is just like, are you kidding? I want to say proud mom vibes, but since I'm younger than you, proud younger sister vibes.
You be my aunt? No. Oh, yeah, proud little sister.
That's right.
Really,
That's
really
right.
younger sister.
Yeah, really, really younger.
Really younger.
Oh, okay, sure.
No, thank you for saying those kind things. That I mean, to this day, anytime I hear anybody say anything of any impact on their life or from an outside perspective, it's hard for me to comprehend everything sometimes because things really go fast when you're in a van for about 7 months, traveling up and down. So this is what we were talking about a minute ago about, how do you break a band today? How do you get close with the band? How do you follow a band? What is the intricacies of how this new machine works? Well, back then we were in a van. We would tour up and down the United States once, up and down Canada once. Then we would go back up and down the United States, up and down Canada, all in 7 months. It was the craziest. Within a calendar year, the first year, we were away for 7 months of the year. We were in a van, but it was, I love this. It was 355 of 365 days touring with 2 5-day breaks in the middle and at the end.
That's
it was
insane.
A whole year. I came home, and at the time I had a girlfriend at the house. All I remember from that whole experience, I remember lots of the experiences in the van, but all I remember when I got home was she opened the door. I kind of think I looked at her, and I passed out for like 2 days. And I don't remember anything at all after that. You get so sick and so exhausted. Now, best job in the world, of course it is. But it's really hard sometimes, like when you're different city every day, 12 hours on a bus. Well, the van was just, I'll never be able to explain that. And we had started out with 5 people, then we had another guy, 7, 8, 9. We had 11 people in an extended van for the end of that. And you can't sit, you can't lie down, you can't sleep. It's insanity, like literally sleep deprivation.
That's something else I learned as well, like the different tiers of bandship, if you will. It eventually changes when the more popular and the more successful you are. But like with the Allman Brothers, I'll give you just a little snippet of that. I got sent their itinerary and it came in this little booklet with their logo on it. And it said, where they were staying and where laundry was, like all the particulars for each and every day. But they were very successful by 1990. Because that was 7 Turns was the album with Good Clean Fun on it. That was a big hit for them. Then I saw another band who I could say who it is. I spent time with Dishwalla while they were on the road.
Love those guys.
They were still breaking out, but Counting Blue Cars, that's when it was.
One of my favorite songs still on my 90s playlist. I love it.
That guy's voice is just ridiculous. JR. I saw that they were in a van or a bus. It was a bus, but still no hotel. So my point of that, I just want to explain to people how, when you're talking about that van, you're saying you're in a van with 11 people. You don't necessarily stop and stay at a hotel. It depends on where you are in your career. For instance, Dishwalla would stay usually in the bus, do a show. Let me be a little graphic. Sweat a lot on stage, maybe in leather pants. Go back onto the bus. Maybe take them off, but there's nowhere to wash them on the bus. So you sleep, you get up, you do the show again, and then maybe like every 2 or 3 days they stop somewhere where you don't necessarily stay in a hotel, but you could do your laundry. Well, I never knew that either. So for me, it was a lesson in, wow, these are some interesting aromas. Number one.
Yeah. Oh God.
But also, you have to really want it. I guess what I'm trying to say is, as the rewards that you end up reaping, you really have to work hard and you really have to go through some stank too.
Yes. We did the van, but what we did was we had at some point, I think at the beginning, it may have been like 2 rooms at like Motel 6 or Super 8. When we got to Super 8, I was like, yes. I was like so excited. We wanted to do the Super 8 tour. We would have 2 rooms, like changing rooms or shower rooms, or back in the day, you would plug in your computer and it would go, and then you would get your mail and get back on the bus, write your replies, go to the next hotel, and you would just, that's called the dial-up modem for the kids. Google it. And then so we had a smoking shower room and a non-smoking. I was always in the non-smoking. That was our arrangement. And then later in life, we would do 2 to a room. And then these are the big moments. So after the 7 months in the van, we get our first Eagle bus, which is a pretty funky, like old Willie Nelson bus. And it's, you know, an old bus. But anytime you go from a extended van to having a place where you can lie down and sleep if you need to, and just take a pee when you need to. Sorry, folks, but otherwise, like, there's 2 people in our band that are always going to truck stops and pulling off the band. I'm not going to name any of them, but that's the deal. So you try to all go, then you got to get back. But when you get a bus, it changes. Then we went from 2 in a room, and we were in San Antonio, Texas, staying on the Riverwalk. And so it was Rob and Paul, drummer and singer, bass player, lead guitar player, all the smoky guys were together. And I was with our young tour manager, who was Matt Serletik's little brother, Dean.
Dean, yeah.
Temporary tour manager. So we would room together because we were the clean dudes. No disrespect to my other guys. They were all very, very clean. And so so one day we're talking like, so what do you think, AG? Like, what, we're going over finances. And I'm like, you think we could do it? I'm like, I think we can I think this is the time we can. So we basically decided that this was the day we were all going to get our own hotel rooms. And from that moment on, you're like, oh my, you know, later on, I'll be a little snooty. It goes to like the Ritz and Four Seasons. But right then, at that moment, to get your own hotel room after being in an extended van and a bus, wow, privacy to myself. So that was great.
You end up going off on your own.
Yeah.
Ish. And doing your own thing.
Yeah.
And that leads us to where we are now.
Oh boy.
I know. Do tell. I know they're very exciting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just super excited. We just launched AdamGaynor.net. I can't be more proud. My beautiful girl, Rachel, my girlfriend, designed pretty much the entire site. And it's a consulting business because the thing is, and this isn't a sales pitch, but it's literally why I opened the business, is when I was answering phones and writing pretty good songs, and before I was even at the studio, I was living in South Florida, which you know, probably in the early 90s, maybe J-Lo and Julio and the Bee Gees and the Miami Sound Machine, and I'm like, an acoustic, I'm like, what? I don't know who to talk to. The only thing there was the Miami Dance Conference. So I didn't know what to do. I eventually got a job in the studio, which was life-changing, but not everybody can do that. So at that point of my life, I just wish to God, like my dad was trying to call old friends and people and just anybody for me to talk to say, am I doing the right thing? Am I writing the right songs? Am I on the right track? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. What should I be doing? And after the band and after taking a break and opening up my creationville.com children's entertainment and plush toy business, a few years ago, I got back into doing my music when I met beautiful Rachel. About 4 years ago, she inspired me to pick up my guitar again. I started writing, which is not egotistical because in my whole life, I've written 2 to 4 really good songs. And whatever's gone on, if I call her Musey, I know that sounds cheesy and stupid, but man, I have written the best music I ever wrote, which took me from LA out here to Nashville. I can't be more proud of what I'm doing. A few years ago, I picked up the ukulele for no reason. I started writing on the ukulele. My first song will be out December 8th of this year, 2023. Can't be more proud of that. It's ukulele written, ukulele based, but it's a giant pop song. Open up the consulting business because I hope to God, I don't care if people come every week or they just come once. I just want to be there for people to come and just tell me what they need. Tell me what they're looking for. Tell me what I can help them with. Analyze their songs, whatever it is. I'm making myself accessible, and it's a lot. So we've just been super busy getting ready for everything this year. And I'm just feel knocking on wood, super blessed and really excited.
It's AdamGaynor.net. And then if you pre-register now,
Mhm.
you can hear the song before
Yeah.
December 8th.
Yeah, all you gotta do is if you go to adamgaynor.net, you're gonna see, just join the community. If you're a musician or if you're a creative person just looking for inspiration, motivation, I put out some Adamisms that help you. Even if you have a floral shop, I hope I can help you. But basically, just join the community. That's free. We do free songwriter Zooms. We do free just jam Zoom parties. And then if you want consulting services, you can hit those tabs. But yeah, if you join now, like when you watch this podcast, you'll be able to hear my first release in over a decade. I'm super
And it's called
excited.
My Everything.
It is called My Everything.
That sounds very musy.
It's definitely about my relationship, and it's also just about
Mhm.
all the ups and downs of life and relationships, and kind of, just one of the words is we always rise more than we fall. It's just kind of about picking yourself back up. And I think, I'm human. I've had a cool job. You've had a
Mhm.
cool job. We all
Mhm.
have ebbs and
Yeah.
flows, ups and downs. And I hope
Yeah.
this resonates with people in everyday life.
Well, funny enough, I always name an episode after a song lyric, and I called this one I Will Survive, kind of because of the Gaynor
Gloria.
connection. Yes.
Gloria Gaynor.
But what you just said is
Yeah.
exactly right. It's about pivoting.
Perfect.
It's about surviving. It's about keeping with it and doing what you need to do. Look at that
Thank you.
happy accident. Look at that. It's
so
like we have
much.
the same birthday or something.
You did it perfect, my soul sister, birth sister.
Your sister from another mister. AdamGaynor.net. And that's great because it's a form of networking. I mean, there's the consultant stuff where you could click on that and get a little more involved, but just joining the community is a kind of a networking. Because think about it. If I hadn't cold called Criteria and you hadn't answered and I hadn't gone,
Yeah.
and then Collective Soul, the whole Collective Soul thing, what they did for you, kind of what they did for me, because I had the same experience with them that I had with you, watching them grow. And then I would, when they'd come into town, they'd call me, Kimba, what are you doing? So, I mean, it was like, all of that can be considered happenstance, but that's how it works.
It is a very strange, serendipitous world, and I'm
Mhm.
super, super blessed. And yeah, it is. It's like an Adam Gaynor global music community. So eventually we're going to tie people in together who want to kind of play
Yeah.
or write. It's going to be super, super special. Right now we got, a good amount of people on there, but I can't wait to get even more and just reach out. I love doing these wacky Zooms where we're all just talking, and I always call out random people to play stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. So I'm really proud of doing that. I kind of feel like I did that back in the Matchbox days. Even through my busiest days, I was the website dude, and we had something called the General Discussion Forum, and I was always there for the fans then.
I
when
know
it
you were.
was
Yeah. You were
millions
always
and millions
very
of
good.
them. I'll take thousands and thousands. It's fine.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, it's relative.
I love you. And
love you.
I'm so happy with everything that's going on with you. And I've already signed up. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting.
I'm so proud of you, Kimmy. I'm always so proud of you. Always and forever. Love you, sweetest.
An absolute joy and treat to speak to Adam. And it's almost 30 years later, and it's just as much fun. And he's just as much fun as ever he was. Again, it's AdamGaynor.net. Thank you for being one of Kimba's herd. And thank you for listening to me, Kimba Radio Broadcast, Season 3, Episode 5, I Will Survive.
Let's keep this on the radio.